So we're joined today by Barnaby King and Samuel, who are from Dream Renewables, and they are part of a 4-week renewable energy course for Ghanaian students. Thank you for joining us both.
Thanks a lot for hosting us.
So the first thing I'd like to ask you guys about is, what is the energy landscape like in Ghana, and why do you think there's a need for this course?
Okay, talking about the energy landscape for Ghana, I would first of all would want to talk about our primary source of energy for electricity. That is in Ghana, that is the Akosombo Dam, have been providing electricity for Ghana since 1967. And that is when they started producing energy for Ghana. And then looking at the demand surge, that actually went up about 52% from 2006 to 2016. There was a demand for a high amount of energy. The Bull Dam was added to it, yet still the kind of energy that we needed was not still enough to provide for the country. So we even got to a time that we're experiencing a term popularly called bloom salt. There was low power shedding, and then we're not having constant power supply. And so during this period, there were coal power plants that were added to the main source of energy that we're having, which also affects climate change, especially the coal power plants that were added. And then currently in Ghana now, there are about 60% of the population that are on the local grid, which actually speaks that yes, there is still indeed more to be done when it comes to the energy sector. And then a lot of people also don't know much about the renewable energy, the kind of clean energy we have around us to use, which wouldn't also affect our health. When you go to most of the villages like this, they don't have access to these LPG gases and then other efficient cooking devices, which would require less energy in their cooking and all that. So when you go to the local communities, you see them cutting down of trees, which all these things affect climate change. So this is the reason why Dream Renewable is coming in to educate the local communities and especially the students so that it will impact their life on changing things concerning climate change as well. Thank you.
Okay, that's really interesting. So Ghana went from having most of its power produced by hydropower to then adding coal power plants, which seems, to me, it would seem a bit of a step backwards in a sense, but you're saying that it's because of this need to provide electricity to the number of people that there are in Ghana. So why do you think that Ghanaians are interested in preserving the environment and conservation, and what kind of students is it that you see enrolling in your course?
So the course was initially designed for senior high school students in Ghana. So this is the A-level equivalents in the UK or high school equivalents in America. But actually what we saw is a whole range of people from different walks of life applying, including business owners from the local community, so farmers and fishermen, as well as a school teacher who wanted to learn on the course so he could then teach his students more about these topics. So actually the intake into the 2019 course was quite varied. And that really showed us that, yes, people in this community, so we work in a small coastal community in the south of Ghana, people in that community really care about renewable energy and they care about environmental issues. So we actually set up a workshop to find out from the cohort, it was about 17 students, why is this important to you? And this is a good time, it seems, to share the outcomes from that. So on the environmental side, there were 3 key issues that came up, and you'll see that they're really serious issues. So the first one is coastal erosion, which has caused many communities very close by to be evacuated, and now they're 8 foot underwater. And this happened just 1 year ago in a community just a couple of miles down the road, where the sea took the community overnight. They had to leave their homes and many of their possessions and just flee the community. So this is a really serious issue that affects closely people's lives in this community. The second issue was deforestation, which is an issue across Ghana. People understand how important the natural forests and ancient jungle is to the biodiversity. It's a particular issue in the community we're in, because there's a large group of mangroves very nearby, which are a really beautiful, incredibly good, sustainable source of wood if harvested properly, and amazing for biodiversity. And the locals are angry that this isn't happening, that it's not being sustainably managed, and that it's being destructively cut down, basically. And that was a really common issue. And the third issue was poor indoor air quality, which actually is caused by the burning of the wood that's cut down inside for cooking and for lighting. And this is actually one of the main causes of sort of respiratory health problems in Ghana. All those three problems are really, really closely impact the lives of people in this community. And moving on to more the renewable energy side, there were also lots of drivers or reasons why people in the community were interested about renewable energy. But actually the main one surprised me a little bit. I was expecting it was going to be, oh, we want a reduced cost of energy, or we want energy to be available all the time. But by far the main one amongst our students, who I guess are the younger, more technology savvy class, was having stable power, because there's serious voltage fluctuations in Ghana, going from 200 to 270 volts sometimes. And people who know about electricity knows how damaging that can be to equipment. And people were saying, even if I could afford to buy a nice laptop, I wouldn't buy it, because I can't trust the Ghana electricity grid, called the ECG, to provide a stable power. So that was the key driver behind renewable energy.
Oh, that's really interesting. So there are interesting kind of environmental reasons and energy reasons because of the first-hand things that they have seen and they've experienced themselves, rather than being taught about, what plastic does in the ocean or things like that. So can you give me some idea? This must really impact businesses, and I know that your course has a focus on entrepreneurship. What's the relationship here? Why do you want to look at both energy and entrepreneurship at the same time? And why do you think they should come together?
On that? Yeah, I have something to say about that. Looking at the particular area that we are now in the Volta region, there are major sources of income. Most of them are fishermen. So that is their major, what they live on, or that is their livelihood. But we believe when we train the students on this renewable energy, at least they will have a bit of education, and then they can change their way of living. But sometimes when it's during the raining season, there are times that they cannot go to the sea. So what are the other things that they resort on? Doing some bad things and those things. So giving them this education about renewable energy is also a form of trade for them. At least they can be working on projects and then others which would actually help them. So that's another reason too as well.
Yeah, that's very true, Sammy. I think also that, as many people know, the capital cost of renewable energy and other environmental solutions is very high. So you kind of have to be innovative and understand entrepreneurship and economics a little bit to be able to think, okay, how can we make this attractive to a rural and underprivileged population? So I think that's another point to add here.
So can you tell me a bit about yourselves? How did the team come together? And there's a lot of different people within your team. What does everyone bring to the table?
So back in, when was it now? Late 2018, I had a chat with the director of a sustainable development charity in Ghana, who I've had links with for a long time. I used to volunteer and I really fell in love with Ghana. And we were talking about how important energy is in the community that they serve, and they didn't currently have any initiatives in energy. It's not really something that's discussed locally, but it's very dirty, the energy that they use, and very expensive. The amount of money that some of the houses spend on fuel is really crazy when you would compare that to the percentage that we would spend on a similar amount of fuel in the West. So I've completely forgotten what the question was now.
How we came together, Barnaby.
Oh yeah, how it came together. Yeah, thanks. I just started talking. So I was having this chat with the director of the charity I've got links with, and we decided to start an education course in renewable energy. We really decided this because this is what empowers the community, rather than coming up with solutions and giving them to the community. By educating about renewable energy, you can empower the community to come up with their own solutions. So once we had that initial discussion, we were pretty excited. We were like, yeah, this is a great idea. And we put out a call on our social networks to say, we've got this idea, we want to start sort of grassroots renewable energy education. Who wants to join us? And actually we had an amazing response. Very quickly, we had a team of 8 great volunteers who were young professionals from the UK and Ghana, typically in renewable energy or who worked in renewable energy. And we also had a great advisory panel of experts, which we couldn't really have asked for more. We had top professors from the university in Ghana on renewable energy. We had researchers on environmental science from Ghana, as well as a number of different CEOs and directors of companies that are selling these solutions. And they really helped us as then we moved forward and designed the course and came up with the detailed plans. This industrial partners and also academic partners really helped us shape the course and make sure it was really relevant to Ghana and the Ghanaian industry, and also the Ghanaian education system. So then about 10 months later, we ran our first program. And me and Sammy met for the first time after working remotely. So we were obviously all in different parts of the world. So we were just working remotely on video chat like this or call chats for a long time. And then we ran our course and it was a great success, which is why now we're looking to grow and move forward.
So Sammy, can you tell us a little bit about why you got involved in the course? What is your background and what kind of things have you been able to take from the course?
Oh, nice. I studied renewable energy engineering from the University of Energy and Natural Resources. So when I heard about Dream Renewable volunteering work, as in going to teach people at the rural areas about renewable energy, I thought it to be something that is good by giving back to society what you've learned. And then one thing I believe in is whatever that you've learned or whatever that you know, as you learn or as you teach people, you also gain more practical experience about whatever that it is. So that's the reason why I decided to join Dream Renewable. And then I've never regretted joining Dream Renewable because the experience was very great and then fantastic. Meeting people like Barnaby and then George and then all those people at meeting me there was very wonderful. I myself had my share of the cake when it comes to the practical aspect. In my final year project, I did wind turbine. I did a project on wind turbine, but I didn't really know much about the practical aspect. So when we were able to build a wind turbine on our own, it was such a wonderful experience. I don't know, in the video you can see that I was so smiling and then I was happy even as a volunteer. So these are the impacts, and I've gained a lot from Dream Renewable when it comes to the practical aspects, and then also meeting new people every day. That is one thing.
So Barnaby, I understand that last year you focused on a number of different topics within renewable energy. What kind of topics did you look at, and why is it that you're looking at solar this year?
Yeah, very important question. We spent a lot of time evaluating our program last year to sort of come up with this. So yeah, last year we focused on all the technologies that we thought as a group of volunteers were relevant to the community. We knew that some topics would be more relevant than others, but we wanted to give people an overview and a sort of understanding of the different technologies available. And also, last year's program was a pilot program, so we wanted to get feedback and get an understanding of, okay, what really works, what's really important. So last year we covered the three main renewable energies: solar, wind, and hydro. We covered hydro because the country is run on hydropower, so we thought it would be kind of nice for them to understand that technology a little bit, even if there aren't that many new opportunities for it. We covered wind and solar because there's good resource of both those technologies. We also spent some time on a number of different, much smaller scale technologies that have been designed specifically for very rural off-grid communities. So these are technologies like the gravity light, where the weight of a heavy object falling creates light, and of a bicycle phone charger or a bicycle light, where you can put a bike on a rack and spin it and create electricity. These are great things for creating very small amounts of electricity at home. So it was a great success, and the students really enjoyed all of the subjects actually. And at the end, we did a questionnaire asking, what would you have liked? How would you have liked it to be different? Basically, would you have liked anything to have been excluded or to have been longer? And the answer basically was we wanted everything to be longer. They wanted to learn more about wind, more about hydro, and more about solar. However, when we asked the question, which is the most relevant, or which do you feel you're most likely to use in your lives, the question was resoundingly really solar, and then some of the solutions for rural communities, such as fuel efficient cook stoves and the bicycle charger. So it was pretty clear from that evaluation that if we only had 4 weeks to run these programs and we wanted to give people a bit more of an in-depth knowledge and a bit more skills and experience to go and take this into their lives, then running a program on solar energy only would be a good option. We're also looking to run a number of shorter workshops over the year with a slightly different audience, based more at, or aimed more at business owners and people in the community who are well placed to market something within the community. Looking at the rural solutions for rural community stuff. So fuel efficient cook stove is a massive one. You know, we did a quick assessment of the 3 different fuel efficient cook stoves to understand the payback time. So if you buy one, how long does it take for you to have your money back? And some of them were less than a month, you know, because they're 80% efficient and they cost about £5. So there's a massive potential there. And it wasn't, the course participants on last year's course weren't so excited about it because it wasn't sort of sexy, it wasn't interesting, it was just a cook stove. And they were sort of like, why are you explaining this to us? But there's a massive potential there. So we're going to run a number of different shorter courses aimed at a slightly different audience to capture that. And then the main 4-week course, which is really about capturing the imagination of the youth, and we're going to run on solar energy in 2020.
Awesome, amazing. So for the last question, I think Sammy's still struggling to get online, but do you want to just remind people how they can donate? Is it on your website or is it on a different website?
Sure, yeah, so we have a great program planned for 2020, as I've just mentioned, all about solar energy and going into a bit more detail about how to design and finance solar energy systems. However, because of COVID-19, we've struck some funding barriers, and so we're doing a bit of a crowdfunding campaign to try and just get over the line to run our program this year. So you can donate on our Just Giving page, which you can get through our website. You can also get that through our Instagram, and there'll be a link appearing somewhere, I'm sure, on the video, which you can click on to make a donation. I'd like to add as well, if you want to help out but you're not in a financial position to do so, we're always looking for new volunteers. We're a 100% volunteer run organisation, and it's a really great young team of volunteers from around the world. It's a really lovely team to be part of. So if you like what you've seen and you want to be part of it in a bit more of a hands-on way, then get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Barnaby. And I hope the course goes well in 2020. And we will speak to you again very soon and keep up to date with how you're getting on with the course.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the interview. I really enjoyed my time.